Hello everyone and welcome to another NARAKA 101 video. My name is OSK and today we'll be talking about Showdown Chapter 2. Real quick, if you didn't already check out the NARAKA 101 video for Chapter 1, make sure you do so now as it does provide some basics as to how the mode works and some of the monsters involved in these levels. In this video, we're going to go over the 3 levels of Chapter 2, the different monsters and bosses in Chapter 2, and also the differences between the normal and hard modes. So without further ado, let's get started. The first level of Chapter 2 is Desert Tribulations. In this level, the objective is to gather 3 runestones from these purple chests by defeating monsters around the chest. You'll complete each section of this solo, however, if you happen to finish early, you can defeat the bosses outside of these barriers to unlock the other solo areas and help your teammates along the way. It's important to be self-sufficient in this level as you only have yourself to count on until the later parts of the level. But once you're done defeating all the monsters and gathering all 3 runestones, you'll be able to go to the center to fight the stone monster. The stone monster is this ninja rock looking thing who will devastate you with grounded attacks as well as swinging limb attacks. He has a habit of zipping around the battlefield and sometimes teleporting right in front of you, so you must always be on your guard. In the normal mode, the most devastating attacks he can land are these jumping and launching grounded attacks that will spawn spikes under the player. It's fairly easy to see this coming, so you will need to tap dodge at the right moment and even throw in a roll if you're not outside of the radius. Another normal move you'll want to watch out for is whenever he picks a player to sprint towards and stab with his arms. And if you're not careful, he can then spin around with a focus attack to land even more damage. Another normal combo he loves to do in the normal mode is to wind up his right arm, swing at you with an uppercut, and then jump back and jump towards another player, launching an attack. It's important to always keep your eye on this monster as no matter where he is, he can always turn in a pinch to another player. So if your friend's getting attacked, just keep in mind that he can easily turn his gaze towards you at a moment's notice. Another normal move you'll want to watch out for is whenever he crosses his arms, lays them down to the side, and then does this spinning attack. Normally this will be followed up on with another spinning attack directly after, so if one friend gets caught, make sure you stay away for the second spin. As long as you know what to look for on the startup of this animation, you should be able to dodge out of the way. Another spinning attack the stone monster likes to do is wind up in a circle and then start spinning. Immediately after this, he will stab with a focus attack. You'll definitely want to steer clear of the spin, but if you happen to dodge it, make sure you're ready to counter that focus attack. This same stabbing focus attack can also be thrown out raw, so make sure you keep an eye out for it and make sure you counter when you see blue flashes. If you can get past these moves, then you should be able to take down the stone monster on normal difficulty pretty easy. In hard mode, he does gain some extra attacks, but it's not by much. He'll gain an extra ground splitting attack where he just winds up and smashes the ground, creating a huge field of spikes in front of him. For this, you'll want to tap dodge at the right time. He can also frequently combo with focus attacks, meaning a normal attack and then a focus attack directly after, so make sure you're ready with the counter after your first dodge. And like I said earlier, the stone monster has a habit of teleporting around the battlefield, so if you see him wind up a focus attack away from you, just keep in mind that he can be right in front of you at a moment's notice. Another favorite combo of his that he has in the hard mode is the spinning attack followed by a normal stab into a focus stab. You'll want to dodge the first 2 attacks and be ready for the counter on the third. Other than that, it's mostly just more damage and more defense that this monster has, and it's actually a pretty good challenge for a first level in a chapter. Beware of these attacks and the teleporting, and you should be good to go. The second level of Chapter 2 is called Immovable. If you like tower defense games, then you're going to love this one. In Immovable, you will have 7 rounds to defend against hordes of enemies, and you must protect these 3 soul altars. Around the map, you'll notice different glowing platforms where you can build different items such as niter jades, ballistas, and also pendulums. Immovable comes with 2 new enemy types. They are these wasps and also these rollers. Wasps will fly above the ground and can be hit by vertical attacks and ranged weapons, and will have a golden focus stinger attack that can launch their stinger at range. The rollers of course have a basic attack and a focus attack as well in the normal mode, which can be countered. In hard mode, the rollers will also have a purple focus attack which you must dodge in order to avoid damage. At waves 4 and 7, an additional boss will spawn. At wave 4, the corpse monster will join in. This is the same as the stone monster except except it is a little bit weaker and does less damage. He spawns in with a horde of enemies as well. For Wave 7, you have your regular old stone monster. He will have the same moves and defense as the previous level, except he will also make a beeline for your soul altars. You'll definitely want to use the gold you earn throughout the level to build ballistas and shoot him down as quickly as possible. Once you clear out all 7 waves of enemies, you will win the level. The third and final level in Chapter 2 is called Toppled Mountains, and this is where you will have your final showdown with Omnious Rock. Omnious Rock fights like a martial artist in the normal mode, and there are some additional features that we will cover in the hard mode later. The normal mode is fairly simple and goes by fairly quick, even if you are right at the sense level required for this level. Omnious Rock moves very slowly and his attacks are very well telegraphed, so there's not really that much you have to worry about, although the damage that he outputs can be a little bit higher than normal. The first attack to watch out for is this charged ranged punch, where he will wind up for a very long time, punch forward and unleash a burst of air after the initial punch. Given the long wind-up time, this is easily avoided. The next attack he has is a running focus attack, where he will charge towards a player, glow blue for his focus attack, and then uppercut them into the air. The thing about this move and most of his moves in the normal mode is that he has a very long recovery period after each attack. Therefore, after you dodge Omnious' attack, you will have a lot of time left to then deal some damage to his astral aegis. The next move to watch out for is his focus kick, which can be comboed into a ranged punch. Simply counter or dodge out of both. Once Omnious Rock hits 50% health, he will spawn in these wasps and evil ints. Simply defeat them and get ready for the next wave of attacks. One of these attacks could be his jumping slam, which is a normal attack but will do a lot of damage if it connects. Omnious Rock can also combo out of his focus attacks by doing a spinning series of kicks. You'll want to make sure you tap dodge away from both of these. And finally, the last attack to watch out for from Omnious Rock in the normal mode is his burrowing attack, where he will go into the ground for about 3 seconds and then emerge uppercutting outward. What you want to do is count in your head 1001, 1002, 1003, and right at 1003 is about when he emerges. You simply want to time this up and dodge if necessary. And that about covers Omnious Rock for the normal mode. It's a very simple fight, pretty easy to defeat, and you should have no trouble with him at all. But now we get into the hard mode, and this is where the difficulty ramps up very significantly. Out of all the modes currently available in Showdown, I would say Omnious Rock hard mode is where you get your first real test to see if you know the mechanics of the mode. Omnious Rock starts out with his first form, just like before, except he does have a few extra moves, such as this multi-punching attack that is normal, and he also gains an extra move at the end of this kick counter, as you can see. Now that's all fine and good, but the real fun starts whenever he hits half health. When Omnious Rock hits half health, he will transform into this larger Vajra looking form with 4 scorpion tails. Just like in Chapter 1, this transformation grants an entirely new moveset and a full health bar. In addition to all that, the damage that he deals is absolutely devastating. Speaking of damage, this footage was gathered from before the recent changes to his grab attacks, but all his basic attacks should still have the same damage dealt. Another big thing about this boss is that he darts around the entire battlefield in a flash, so you'll need to make sure that you constantly keep an eye out for his attacks, as you never know when you're the next target and he can get to you fairly quickly. For example, this first move of his where he jumps and launches himself towards you can deal half of your health bar, and that's just one move. So make sure you're playing defensively, always keep an eye on this boss, and make sure that you know when to dodge by following this guide. Another thing you'll want to watch out for are his grab attacks. Sometimes it's not very well telegraphed and you'll need to keep a good distance away from the boss in order to prevent this. For example, I use Viper Ning in this scenario, and her longsword grants her the Phoenix Blast ability. When you're trying to dodge this boss, usually about the distance it takes to hit from Phoenix Blast is about how far you want to stand away. This should get you close enough to land attacks while also giving you enough time to dodge out of certain moves. Another thing about this boss is that counters go a long way, as he's not very still most of the time and he does attack fairly quickly. So what you'll need to do is keep an eye out for these blue focus attacks such as this one. Again, this isn't very well telegraphed, but he will glow blue for a brief moment before unleashing an airburst attack, so make sure that you're ready to hit that counter button. In addition to this airburst attack, he will also have a bent over over slam attack that you'll want to try to counter as well. All I will say about countering is that make sure you don't miss your opportunity, because if you do, you're going to be up against this boss for a long time and he can do a lot of damage even in just one move. The next attack you'll want to watch out for is this straight punch that he does. It's not telegraphed that well, but he will wind up slightly with his right arm and then punch towards you with both his arm and his scorpion tails. So you want to make sure to tap dodge to the side for this. Now that's all well and good. Those are normal attacks, so you should expect from any boss, but his main mechanic is his grab moves. This part can be especially frustrating if you're not ready for it, but essentially he will swipe with his scorpion tails to try to capture you and then slam you down to the ground like a Vajra would in the Battle Royale mode. For those of you who don't know what a Vajra is, it's Tianhai's ultimate where he grabs you and slams you. The only reliable way to get out of this grab animation is to either tap dodge through it or dodge enough times to where the iframes will get you through it. As you can see, not even a single tap dodge will be enough to get you out of the range of this attack, as his grab has a very large hitbox and you will need to either go through it or completely around it with multiple dodges. This is why it's important to always save your stamina during a fight with this monster, as if you don't have enough, then you will be getting grabbed and you will be taking a lot of damage if you're not careful. To top it all off, he can also do a double grab where if he gets two players at the same time, he will do a double slam and will almost guarantee that you wipe the two players. So it is very important to make sure that you dodge his grab attacks at all costs. Now that's the most important mechanic of this boss fight, but it's not over yet. Omnius Rock also has a get up attack whenever you knock him down. He will then regenerate and do a sweeping attack around him. Make sure you avoid it. And finally, the last mechanic for this boss is his ranged laser attack. Now this creates 3 lanes of lasers, 2 on the outside and 1 up the middle. What you'll need to do is make sure to get about mid-range from him and then dodge slightly left or slightly right. The lasers also will sweep towards the end of its animation at the longer ranges, so as long as you fit somewhere in the middle where the bevel is large enough, you should be able to slip right through. Easiest way to do this, of course, is to tap dodge through the animation. What I should say is that's the last normal mechanic of this boss, as once he hits about 15% health, he will then teleport to the center of the arena, do a few ground slams, and then do a sweeping laser attack with his tails. This covers the entire grounded section of the arena, and you'll need to use your grapples to get up high enough to dodge this attack. After that attack is done, he will then proceed to attack you further in his current form. However, once he hits about 5 to 10% of his health, he will then transform into his previous form. Yes, indeed, that is correct. This boss is not done yet, and he will regenerate up to half of his health to then finish you off. Now, the thing about this next form of his is that it attacks a lot quicker, and some of the attacks are enhanced, such as this jumping slam attack with extra explosions. Now, I will admit this next attack kind of caught me off guard, but it is cool to watch. If you get hit by this normal uppercut, Omnius will then proceed to aerial combo you and deal a ton of damage. Finally, the last mechanic you'll want to watch out for is his burrowing, as it does gain an extra focus attack kick whenever he gets out of the uppercut animation. Just be ready to counter that second hit, or alternatively, you could find these little spikes I found on the northeast side of the arena. Yes, that's right, you can cheese this boss a little bit if you have ranged weapons available and really get some damage done without being in danger from any of the hits. Obviously, it's not an intended mechanic, but I found it funny, so I'm including it in the 101 video. Once you get through this third phase, you will have finally completed the level and you will have beaten Omnius Rock. This is definitely a true test to anyone who enjoys the PvE side of NARAKA, as that damage is insane, but if you manage to succeed, the reward is well worth it. And that is going to do it for today's NARAKA 101 video for Showdown Chapter 2. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really hope it helped you learn some of the mechanics in this new mode. I would like to thank NARAKA for giving me the opportunity to cover this 101 video, and also for you guys for staying here till the end. This has been OSK. Y'all have a great day, and I will see you all out there.